And another huge, huge story we need to talk about. I talked about this on my show over the weekend. Google, over the past several years, they're not telling us how many years, it means more than a few. Okay, so more than 3 years with Google Street Views where they said, hey, we're just going to be taking pictures and mapping out society, and it's going to be great for everybody. Now, if you look at this Times Online headline, Eric Schmidt says Google should not be prosecuted for Wi-Fi records. It actually shows you a car with a device mounted on the top. Now, that's not used to take pictures. See, photographs are taken from cameras. Now, they said over the last several years, accidentally, they were taking all the wireless information. And if you're part of the dumbed-down masses and you read the local headlines that were basically in the back of the paper and not made out to be a big deal, you might believe that if you didn't read 3-4 paragraphs in, when you realize, hey, wait a minute, taking pictures has nothing to do with data mining all of the information surrounding them wirelessly. And now Schmidt is pleading with the international and American community not to prosecute him. The chief executive of Google admitted to major privacy mistakes please, today as regulators prepare to launch probes into the company for recording personal communications sent over unsecured wireless networks in people's homes. Now, Eric Schmidt is featured ever so shortly in Invisible Empire, and we're going to play that clip briefly coming up, not right now. But he clearly discusses how he wants to talk about what's going on in the world, where we're going, the new world order, as they call it, referring to the elitists he works with. He is a very intricate part of the military-industrial complex at this point. Eric Schmidt said that the company had not authorized the activity of its streetcar views, give me a break, didn't authorize it, which have been collecting snippets of people's online activities broadcast over unprotected home and business Wi-Fi networks, which, depending on the year, were about 70 to 80% of the wireless networks out there. And this is what he said: no harm, no foul. Hey, Eric, it's not a basketball game, brother. It's real life. Speaking at Google's Zeitgeist conference at the Grove Hilton in Hertfordshire, Mr. Schmidt said that the greater damage had been done to the company's reputation rather than to the individuals themselves. And then he said, oh, it was just a relatively small amount of data that was collected, and it was not authorized. We stopped driving immediately. Total lie. This just came out this week. Most of the country has been mapped with Google Street Views. They didn't stop anything. There appears to be no use of data. It's sitting on a hard drive. And then he goes on to say, we will not delete the collected data until ordered to do so. And again, because it's a military-industrial complex company, they work with the NSA. They're part of a NASA program out there, folks. The UK Information Commissioner's Office has said that the Data Protection Act appeared to have been breached, but that after receiving assurances from Google that it would delete the data as soon as reasonably possible. So again, they were aware that they were collecting data. The UK Information Commissioner's Office knew that this wasn't just about Street Views. It was about maintaining all of this wireless data, whether that be your emails, your bank accounts, your passwords, the websites you visited, all tracked, traced, and databased on another level with a private company called Google. That's the reality. And the UK Information Commissioner's Office was aware of it, but they were assured, oh, they're going to delete the data as soon as they collect it. They talk to you like you're 5-year-old children. The company admitted last week that the car's radio antenna obtained emails and other bits of information when the vehicles passed through towns and cities. Google said the data was mistakenly collected and only in short bursts as the vehicles passed by and was never used. We're continually struggling with the question, said Schmidt. We have to decide what is and what isn't appropriate in the privacy sphere. Each government and company will decide differently. I don't agree. They're not deciding differently. They're beta testing separate programs across the world. In my film Invisible Empire, I chronicle how the UK, for the last year plus, has been putting CCTV cameras in sin bin family homes. In other words, their CPS decides what families are bad, and now they're surveilled in their homes with CCTV cameras. This is just another step. We also expose an Invisible Empire. AT&T and all the other large telecommunication companies out there, which Google is becoming a part of, folks, with their Android phone, with their Chrome software. Chrome is another internet browser. It revealed that, oh, they are also taking all of the information and dumping it into a secret room on a private server. Everything you've done on the internet for the past 10 years. Get with reality. All right, I want to play this clip briefly. We not have it yet? All right, so we'll play it in the next segment of Eric Schmidt talking about the New World Order. But this is so important to understand. These people need to be prosecuted and then punished to the fullest extent of the law, and journalists need to do their jobs and attend to this situation as front page news. 90% of you out there have Google as your homepage. We use it on a daily basis. The word is now synonymous with the web. It is ingrained in not only pop culture, but culture in general. And I want to move on to another tech story because Pakistan is now blocking Facebook. If you don't understand why we get on the air, we talk about the Cybersecurity Act, the Cyberbullying Act, Obama's plans, and he openly talked about this months and months and months ago, to set up a cybersecurity office with a cybersecurity czar. CNN playing these wacko scenarios where Michael Chertoff and others are talking about regulating the internet as though it's real. Oh my God, a crisis has happened. And you know what? If the people don't like it, that's too damn bad. And you know what? If the governors don't like the National Guard being on the streets with U.S. military, that's too damn bad too. Watch it for yourself. So Muslim anger prompts Pakistan to block Facebook. And this is how the media plays us off against one another, how they really divide cultures. Pakistan's government ordered internet service providers to block Facebook on Wednesday amid anger over a page that encourages users to post images of who? Islam's prophet Muhammad. And all of this stuff is now hyped up almost a decade later, really almost 9 years later, after 9/11. Without 9/11, people don't understand. No one really cared about these cartoons or depictions of Muhammad because the media didn't play them up to incite violence and misunderstanding and miscommunication among Americans and the Middle East. The Facebook page at the center of the dispute, Everybody Draw Muhammad Day, encourages users to post the images of Prophet on May 20th to protest threads made by a radical Muslim group against the creators of South Park for depicting Muhammad in a bear suit during an episode earlier this year. Now, if you're unaware of this whole South Park situation, before 9/11, South Park did an episode called The Super Best Friends. It was kind of a ripoff of Wonder Woman and Superman, but instead it was all these different religious figures. And then they didn't know it wasn't proper to show an image of Muhammad. So the network didn't know, the South Park guys didn't know. They showed Muhammad. No one made a big deal about it. He was on screen for 22 plus minutes. No one said a word. Nobody. Not a word. So then 10 plus years later, after 9/11, they want to use the same character, and now they have a huge censored box. You can't hear him. You can't see him. They're just showing you the absurdity about not being able to satirize a very public figure in Muhammad, a very public religious figure. And now it's all over the place, and it's used for division, and it has prompted Pakistan to block Facebook. Can you imagine living in a country, much like China, where they just block YouTube, they block Facebook? You no longer have a way to get open source information. That's why the internet is so important in this info war. Without it, we couldn't put films like Don't Tread on Me, the latest film from Gary Franchi and William Lewis, over at prisonplanet.tv for subscribers. We wouldn't be able to put Invisible Empire up on YouTube for free with over 360,000 views on just one link. There's another full link out there with 50,000 views. The thing has been seen by over 500,000 people easily in the last month. That's how we have victories. People become aware of the issues and then involved, and then they go to the voting booths and they vote Rand Paul and they vote Arlen Warren Commission Specter out of office after all these years. This is a guy that's been around forever. Spectre is about as limited hangout as you can get. If you are unaware of this individual, he also headed up the Able Danger hearings, which really were supposed to shine light on this black ops program headed by Tony Schaefer, who's done this show now several times, and his unit with Eric Kleinsmith and others, that they had found Atta and 3 of the other cells prior to 9/11 and tried to go to the FBI 70-plus times. And you know what Arlen Block the Truth Spectre does? He sits up there and panders to the situation and talks about, oh, it must be because of posse comitatus. Posse comitatus is a bad thing. No, posse comitatus is a good thing. It's a separation of the military and police. We have it for a reason. And posse comitatus had nothing to do with Able Danger. And they were very willing to break that premise at the G20 in Pittsburgh when they put troops on the street. So goodbye, Arlen Specter, and hello, Liberty. Let's get Rand Paul into the Senate. Let's take this to the next level. Let's scream from the mountaintops that we can have victories. Let people know that Google isn't the savior. It doesn't have your best interests at heart. On the other side, I really want to get into this situation in Afghanistan because some of the headlines out there. Oh no, the Taliban's attacking U.S. bases. Wait a minute, we hire Taliban. We created Al-Qaeda. We run the militant groups. That and much, much more coming up. It's the Alex Jones Show. I'm Jason Burma sitting in.